After having his existence completely erased from reality, a programmer ends up in another world where he gains the ability to travel between dimensions. Today we're going to recap the story of the 2018 movie, A Rough Draft. On his girlfriend Anna's birthday, a game designer named Kirill dresses up as a Russian doll and surprises the girl by stopping her in front of her apartment to propose to her. After reciting a poem, the young man shows her 2 brochures and tells her that he's going to make her dream come true, revealing that he's bought her tickets to a tropical island, just like she's always wanted. Despite this, Anna doesn't seem so excited and says that her birthday was the day before, and that he's forgotten yet again. While Kodia films from behind the tree, Anna returns the leaflet to Kirill and tells him that she no longer wants to be a part of his life, revealing that she's got a new job and a boyfriend. Even after they break up, Kirill and Kodia go to the company where their boss is throwing a party to celebrate the new game they are developing. Seeing Kirill, the man congratulates the designer on his idea for the game and offers him a drink. Even though he's sad, he decides to enjoy the party where he becomes the center of attention, with everyone wanting to take a photo with him. When he finally gets some quiet time, Kirill watches the recording on Kodia's cell phone and starts to feel down. Tired, he decides to go home to spend some time with his dog, but when he arrives, he finds a stranger in his house. Confused, Kirill asks who she is and she says she lives there. The woman then introduces herself as Renata and also claims to be the owner of the apartment, saying she's going to call the police. When they arrive, the agents check their documents and decide to inspect the apartment, which, to Kirill's surprise, looks completely different. Hearing the commotion, some neighbors come out of their houses and confirm that Kirill is the owner, but as all the documents for the house are in Renata's name, the police decide to evict the developer. With nowhere else to go, the man goes to Kodia's house where he begins to search for the apartment's documents online, discovering that everything is correct and in his name. Thinking that Renata is a scammer, the young man decides to go to the town hall the next day to get his house back. When he arrives at the place, Kirill discovers that his name has disappeared from the documents overnight and has been replaced by Renata's name. What's more, even his personal documents have disappeared and no one has any record of him. In need of a place to spend some time, Kirill decides to go to the office to ask his boss for an advance, but when he goes to talk to the secretary, for some reason she gives him the visitor's card. Although he finds it strange, Kirill goes into his boss's office and tries to explain why he needs money, but the man doesn't recognize him and acts as if the company doesn't have a designer yet. Thinking he wants the job, the manager says he'll wait for the portfolio and asks Kirill to leave. Startled, the man goes back to his secretary and asks if she recognizes him, but the woman seems to have no idea who he is. Thinking it's a joke, Kirill asks for her phone number to show her the photos they took at the party last night, but somehow it's been removed from all the images. After some thought, Kirill comes to the conclusion that Kodia is setting him up and goes to make amends. However, when he arrives at the apartment, his friend doesn't recognize him and acts as if he's being robbed, handing over all his money. Not knowing where to turn, Kirill decides to call his father to make an appointment, but when the time comes, the man also forgets about Kirill, and when confronted, claims never to have had a child. Even more confused, the developer decides to go back to his apartment and confronts Renata, who is the only one who remembers who he is. After confirming that she had something to do with it, Kirill takes out a knife and threatens the woman, who, instead of getting scared, tells him she's ready and grabs his arm, forcing the knife into her own stomach as she screams for help. Covered in blood, Renata laughs until she loses her life. As soon as she goes out, one of the neighbors appears and, on seeing the scene, knocks Kirill out. Sometime later, the young man wakes up and starts going back in time to just before the surprise for Anna. Looking at his cell phone, the GPS indicates a different destination and Kirill decides to follow it to see where it leads, ending up in an apparently abandoned tower next to the Moscow River. As soon as he enters the place, Kirill starts exploring until he reaches a room on the second floor with a mattress. Exhausted, the man decides to lie down and blacks out in a few seconds, waking up the next day in a totally different place. When he gets up, Kirill notices someone knocking on the door and goes to answer it, discovering that it's the delivery man with some packages for him. At that moment, Renata enters through another door, fully healed, and begins to introduce Kirill to the place, explaining that inside the tower, the gatekeeper can materialize whatever he wants and do whatever he wants. Just below, Renata tells him that the tower is the border between the worlds and that he is now a customs officer, so he has to read the rule books that the letter carrier delivered. Kirill refuses and says he will go back to his world, but Renata reminds him that his records have been erased and that he will be sought by the authorities because of the events of last night. With no options, the man decides to stay and opens the door for Renata to leave. Before Kirill can start reading the rules, The water fountain turns itself on and the young man realizes that his body is interacting differently with the liquid. After removing his hand from the water curtain, Kirill opens one of the doors and starts taking pictures of the new world. With his cell phone still in his hand, Kirill calls Kotia and says he wants a job, arranging a meeting with his friend. There, Kirill meets Kotia, who says he liked the photos and would love to see the place where they were taken. Once in the tower, Kotia is impressed by the view and even more amazed by the tower's ability to materialize anything, even the most expensive wine in the world. While Kotia is opening the bottle, one of the travelers stops at the tower with some uranium capsules and Kirill does his job as an agent, charging 265 rubles tax to transport the objects from one world to the other. After the traveler leaves, Kirill goes back to talking to Kotia until someone else starts knocking on one of the doors. When he answers the door, Kirill is surprised to see Anna, who doesn't recognize him and is accompanied by a man called Anton. Together with her partner, Anna greets Kotia, who asks where they are going. Anton then replies that they are going to the White Rose and head straight there, followed by Kirill and Kotia, who also decide to pay a visit. As soon as they arrive on the scene, a giant Matryoshka materializes in front of them and starts attacking Kirill, who develops super abilities, hitting the doll with a volley and running up the walls while dodging the projectiles. To finish off the Matryoshka, Kirill grabs a sword stuck in the wall and goes after the Matryoshka doll. But for some reason, the Russian doll disappears as soon as he jumped. After the Matryoshka disappears, Kotia shows some of the photos he took during the fight, until a few drops of blood begin to fall on the screen of his cell phone. Curious, the two go upstairs where they find a woman almost lifeless thanks to a cut on her neck. Even with the wound, the woman manages to ask for some water and Kirill gives her a whole jug to drink from. After ingesting the liquid, the girl begins to heal and is finally able to communicate, introducing herself as Rose. Fully healed, the woman says that the Matryoshka was a test and that he passed, even with the wound on his arm. To help him heal, Rose gives him a glass of water and prepares a bath for the new gatekeeper, which makes him fully restored in a few seconds. While Kirill is in the bathtub, the woman explains that one of the curators has chosen him to open up new worlds and that now he is no longer human and has the ability to control his spiritual energy. To prove it, Rose freezes the water in the bathtub and asks Kirill to concentrate on melting it, which he manages to do with a little effort. Just then, Anton and Anna arrive at the hotel restaurant and sit down at one of the tables for a romantic dinner, which makes Kirill visibly uncomfortable. On the second day of work, Kirill wakes up in the tower and realizes that the landscape outside has changed completely, taking on the tropical appearance of the brochure he gave Anna. Happy, the man jumps out of the window and dives into the ocean, but soon someone starts knocking on another door and he has to leave to answer it. Inside the tower, Anton hands Kirill a document to sign and tells him that from now on, he no longer belongs to the human world, so he can't violate the convention or go to the kingdom of Arkan. After Anton leaves, Renata arrives with the inspection team who are impressed by the fact that he has opened a door that leads to the beach. While the inspectors are enjoying their new world, Renata gives them a gift of a medallion that turns into a spider and pierces Kirill's chest, sucking his blood and then returning to its original shape. Soon after, Renata explains that the tower is directly linked to his vital energy and tells him not to go too far, revealing that his current distance limit is 9 miles. After she leaves, Kirill checks his GPS and realizes that his parents' house is just over 8 miles away. Being so far from the tower, his skin starts to become transparent until it turns into a thin film, leaving his bones and nerves visible. Thinking he's hallucinating, the people around him offer him some water and start to lead him out of the subway. Finally rehydrated, Kirill goes on his way and shows up at his parents' apartment by surprise, but since they don't remember who he is, he pretends to be a college employee who has come to congratulate his mother on her research breakthrough. Kirill gains their trust and enters the apartment for one last family dinner. After the meal, Kirill returns to the tower where he is visited by Anton, who has come to show Anna the door that leads to the beach. While the girl is enjoying the place, Kirill traps Anton in the water fountain and starts questioning him about their relationship. After the man says he has nothing to do with Anna, the customs agent decides to let him go and goes to the door to watch his beloved on the beach, as she has always dreamed. On the third day, Kirill goes straight to Anna's house where he reveals that he opened the beach door thinking of her. On hearing this, the girl asks if they have met before and Kirill confirms it. After the conversation, they go on a date and spend the whole day together, taking the first step towards getting back together. After watching the sunset on the beach, Kirill and Anna go to the reception party where Rose makes a point of separating the couple. Alone with Kirill, Renata takes him to the other guests who begin to flatter him, just like at the company party. In the middle of the crowd, the young man sees a man playing pool away from the others and decides to go over and have a chat, discovering that his name is Felix and that he was also a very popular customs agent. As he has more experience, Felix gives some advice and tells Kirill not to be impressed by other people praising him, and that the only thing they want is more doors to new worlds. Curious, Kirill asks why, and Felix replies that it's all done for Arkan, the perfect world that the curators have created for themselves. Continuing his explanation, Felix says that each employee has a curator and that he is always hidden away watching. Kirill asks if it's possible to leave the job, and Felix replies that it is, but that most of the employees who have tried it have lost their lives or been taken to horrible worlds made exclusively to punish them. While they talk, Rose distracts Anna until Renata arrives and asks to be left alone. When they are finally alone, Renata says that Anna doesn't belong there and asks her to leave. Back at the pool table, Kirill asks how he can see his curator, but just as Felix is about to answer, Rose appears and gets in the way. Outside, Anna starts to look out of the window and sees Rose trying to win Kirill over, which makes her leave heartbroken. As soon as he realizes this, Kirill runs after the girl, who insists on moving away, asking him to open the door for her. Outside, Anna is surprised by a friend of Anton's who offers to give her a lift, but instead of taking her home, the man drives in a straight line further and further away from everything else. In the tower, the inspector appears to talk to Kirill and asks him to open the door that leads to Arkan, explaining that the last door with access to that world was in the Soviet Union, but that it was bombed during the Second World War, destroying the only passage. Now, the inspector wants Kirill to reopen the door so that they can visit Arkan, which is nothing more than the planet Earth 30 years in the future. The organization's plan is to observe everything that has happened in Arkan and prevent them from suffering the same fate, preventing disasters and diseases in order to save as many lives as possible. In the car, Anna finally realizes that the man isn't going to her house and tries to call Kirill. But the stranger grabs her cell phone and breaks it with extreme ease. In the tower, Kirill sees the missed calls and tries to call back, but obviously no one answers. Worried, the young man decides to visit Anna's house, which is just over 9 miles away. Even at his peril due to the distance, Kirill doesn't think twice and walks there, but once again his skin begins to turn transparent and he comes very close to elimination. To heal himself, the gatekeeper begins to eat the snow around him until he eventually blacks out. On the 4th day, Kirill wakes up in the tower to a message from Anton asking him to travel between worlds until he finds Anna. To do so, he enters the first door that leads to a reality full of pollen. There, Kirill meets an employee of the organization called Vasilisa, a woman who works as a blacksmith. To give the gatekeeper a present, the woman forges a knife and takes him to her house to drink. There, Vasilisa asks him if he can smell the pollen, and she reveals that the world they are in is one of the camps for punishing agents who break the convention. When they come into contact with the pollen, people turn into addicted zombies and spend eternity trapped with Vasilisa, worshipping her as if she were a great leader. While they're talking, some employees arrive with the newcomers to be marked, and Kirill spots Anna among the crowd. Now that he knows where she is, the gatekeeper begins to think of ways to rescue her until Vasilisa invites him to a rally, asking him to give a speech to the zombies. Seeing it as a great opportunity, Kirill accepts and Vasilisa takes him to the stage, introducing him to the zombies and giving him the chance to make a speech. Knowing that they will accept anything, Kirill begins to praise Vasilisa and makes people see her as a true heroine, encouraging the prisoners to approach the stage to throw her over. With the woman in the arms of her own zombies, Kirill runs to Anna and tries to take her back to the tower, but Vasilisa refuses to let this happen and goes after him, challenging him to a fight with her sledgehammer. To save his beloved, Kirill takes the knife the woman gave him and goes after her. After a bizarre race, they both jump and their weapons clash in the air, but they end up stalling and nothing happens. On the ground, Kirill asks Vasilisa to let them escape in peace, and she replies that the curator wouldn't allow it. Just then, the zombies appear once again and start throwing her up into the air, allowing Kirill to escape and take Anna back to the tower, where he begins to treat her wounds. While looking after the woman, the gatekeeper is visited by Kotia, who activates the medallion to punish him and reveals that he was the curator all along. To fight back, Kirill picks up the knife and throws it at his former best friend, but as a curator, Kotia is extremely powerful and can stop the object with the power of his mind alone. Kotia once again triggers the medallion and says that Kirill will be trapped in the tower until he begs for forgiveness, limiting the distance the gatekeeper can travel to just 50 meters. After Kotia leaves, Kirill decides to cure Anna with water and tries to carry her to the beach, but because of the 50-meter limit, his body begins to be consumed while still on the sand. Seeing his suffering, Anna uses her last strength to remove the medallion so that Kirill can finally walk to the water, healing them both almost instantly. When he feels better, Kirill returns to the tower and writes a letter, which he leaves next to Anna's pillow, saying that he will be fine and that he will come back to her soon. With that done, the gatekeeper opens one of the doors and ends up in a world that seems much more modern. While observing the place, Kirill is visited by a man called Alexandrovich who reveals that they are in Arkan, signaling that he has finally accomplished his mission. Curious, the gatekeeper asks what date they are on and the stranger reveals that they are on June 22, 1941. Upon hearing this date, Kirill asks if Arkan shouldn't be 30 years in the future and Alexandrovich denies it, saying that they created the other worlds so that they would know what was going to happen and be able to avoid disasters in this reality. After the revelation, Alexandrovich says that they don't like illegal aliens and calls them Matryoshka's dolls that gather around them. In order to avoid a conflict, Kirill tries to escape by walking, but is surrounded by Alexandrovich and other people who try to stop him. Thanks to his new abilities, Kirill manages to defeat the two humans easily, but a woman appears from behind and starts shooting at him. Even with the wound on his stomach, Kirill manages to throw himself into the water while the dolls try to hit him. Thanks to his healing factor, the gatekeeper stays alive and swims away while the Matryoshka shoot at the water and throw missiles to prevent him from escaping. Even so, Kirill manages to stay unharmed and climbs out of the manhole near the entrance to the tower, where he finds two trucks blocking the passage with concrete. Using the manhole cover, the gatekeeper runs while the Matryoshka try to hit him. Kirill jumps over one of the dolls and uses the knife to cut a hole in the metal plate, allowing him to return to the tower. Thinking he's at peace, Kirill starts to wash in the fountain until Renata appears to stop him, destroying the tower's staircase. Then the gatekeeper manages to materialize a path to Anna's room and realizes that she is no longer there. Confused, the man asks where the girl is and Renata replies that she has sent her somewhere else. To prevent the rescue, the woman starts attacking Kirill with her powers and reveals that she is now in charge of the tower, but the man is still a gatekeeper and manages to stop the rocks. As her powers are no use, Renata decides to go after her opponent and they engage in a contest of strength, but Kirill takes advantage of the fact that she is immobilized to plunge a knife into the belly of the new gatekeeper, who loses her life a few seconds later. With the battle over, the tower collapses and Kirill gets up ready to go after Anna, but Kotia appears and says that now he can no longer transport himself, because without the tower, the gatekeeper is unable to open new doors. Kotia then says that to save Anna, Kirill needs to help the organization and suggests asking for Felix's help, joining forces to rescue the girl and keep the Foundation afloat. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.